Hey everybody, Douglas Blair Roberts here, the Super Vader 400, and of course the brown skin human coming back at you with another movie series review intro. My previous movie series review intro, whenever I uploaded to YouTube, for some odd reason, the newest, the Crush 40 upload of Sonic What I'm Made Of, their uploaded version for some odd reason has a copyright on it, and whenever I see, and the copyright is actually not a problem according to YouTube, but if I ever want to set this account up for monetization, it will be a problem. So I'm going to do a remade version using two non-copyrighted songs. Even though this is an intro for movie reviews and rants, the What I'm Made Of will from now on this channel will only be the outro, and I'll use one of the old school non-copyrighted uploads of Sonic What I'm Made Of. The intros will feature the Sonic Heroes theme, which I haven't used in a long time, and of course the iconic We Can that I use a lot now. Everywhere on every other platform, the intros, I will use the old intro. So with that being said, let's get started right now. Hey everybody, it's time for my short part 1 narration audio version of the Doctor Strange movie franchise, which is not really a franchise because none of these movies, apart from all being based upon Doctor Strange, none of these movies are connected. The only thing they're 3 different movies. This franchise is 3 different movies released in 3 different decades. The only thing they all share in common The only thing they share in common is that they're all based upon Doctor Strange. They're all, in some ways, adaptations of Doctor Strange. So with that being said, as you can see by the picture here, the very first movie I'm going to talk about is a B movie I discovered recently in 2019, and that of course was Dr. Mordred. Dr. Mordred starring legendary science fiction actor Jeffrey science fiction and horror actor Jeffrey Allen Combs. Jeffrey Allen Combs as the main protagonist, Dr. Anton Mordred, and starring popular actor Jay Avacone, co-starring Jay Avacone as Detective Tony Gladio, and of course the gorgeous Yvette Nempar stars as Samantha Hunt, and also Shao Kahn from Mortal Kombat, Brian Thompson, who's really good at playing bad guys, anti-heroes, and aggressive characters, portrays the main antagonist in this film in Cabal. Yeah. So this right here was a B movie that started off as an adaptation of Doctor Strange, but by the time the time the film was ready to be released, they had lost the rights. Well, they went through all the trouble to film this, so they did. I think by the time they got a chance to make the film, either when they completed the film, or when they started filming, they lost the rights. Well, they didn't want all this to go to waste, so they decided to title a different name and release something else, and and they made this movie, Dr. Mordred, which in my opinion, this was cooler than Doctor Strange. Of the Doctor Strange movie, this is the best in my opinion. This 90s B movie was the best and the most exciting. Was the best in quote unquote most exciting. The 2016 film, which I'm going to talk about later in this franchise right here, is way bigger, because it was part of a large cinematic universe. But I thought this film and its actors plot were way cooler, way cooler. And back in the 90s, I thought these low budget B movies were better than a lot of the A blockbusters at the time, especially when you compare, the various video game adaptations of the 90s. But anyway, Dr. Mordred, Dr. Mordred. This film was a cross between the Doctor Strange comic books, the DC hero Dr. Fate, who's after Dr. Fate? Oh yeah, Dr. Fate. And I think these were unintentional. Number 3 is Mortal Kombat with Sorcerers. Instead of Shaolin monks, ninjas, elder gods, special forces, actors, etc. This is like Mortal Kombat, only everyone is a sorcerer, not just the bad guy. Everyone is a sorcerer. Mortal Kombat with sorcerers. The bad guy's even named Cabal. I wonder if the people making Mortal Kombat saw this film right here. Then number 4, these two I'm damn sure were unintentional, because this film came out 2 years after the first franchise I'm about to talk about, and the next franchise came out a decade after this, and that of course was actually 3. The first one is the 80s armor anime franchise Shirato, Legend of the Heavenly Spear, which both feature beings from a different world coming to our world, except that one features a guy from the human world being transported to a fantasy world. And then you got Yu Yu Hakusho, and last but not least, Bleach. But like I said, I think those 3 in Mortal Kombat are were unintentional, but that's what this whole film reminds me of. You take all those franchises and mix them together, you get this awesome underrated gem right here. Yeah, what else about this awesome movie? Yeah, the plot, of course, is about Anton Mordred Combs, who is a wizard from another dimension sent to Earth by a being called the Monitor to stop the evil Wizard Cabal from opening the gates of hell. To open the gates of hell, he needs a popular stone called the Philosopher's Stone. Yes, the Philosopher's Stone, and to make several alchemic elements together to complete the spell and open the hell gate, unleashing his minions from the fourth dimension upon Earth. Thank you, Wikipedia. So to do this, he goes to the human world and poses as an apartment attendant, which is where he meets detective and police officer Samantha Hunt, portrayed by the Yvette Nimpar, who, despite being almost 60 years old, being in her late 50s now, is still a gorgeous woman. Yvette Nimpar, he decides to quote unquote find her. He decides this is where he befriends what's his name. On one certain day, Dr. Mordred is framed by Cabal for a crime, and this is where Tony Gaudio is forced. Tony Gaudio, portrayed by Jay Avacone, his character. This is where his character comes into play, who is also the partner and friend of Samantha Hunt. Brings him in, and Dr. Mordred comes up with an elaborate ruse with Samantha Hunt to escape, and he confronts and defeats Cabal, but is now forced to go back to his dimension, but not before having one last dance with what's his name. Dr. Mordred. Was really exciting revisiting this film again. And also, another thing about this movie is that June 10th, 2022, this movie will be featured in Mystery Science Theater 3000. To see, I did an original narration review of this somewhere in 2020. The link to that will be in the description box below. A solo review of this. So that was Dr. Mordred. Now for quote unquote Doctor Strange 2007, the 2007 animated film. Which I consider to be one of the best, one of Marvel's quote unquote best one of Marvel's best films. However, in the wake of the very large MCU movies, it's just okay now. Back in 2007 when it came out, I thought this and the Ultimate Iron Man, the Invincible Iron Man movie, and the Hulk versus movie were some of the greatest ever. Now I just think they're all okay. And I consider these three to be the best of the Marvel animated films. These are the three Marvel animated films I've actually seen. But they were back in the late 2000s. They were awesome. Now they're just quote unquote Doctor Strange don't really have that much to say. Don't really have that much to quote unquote say about it. It's for the most part, it's a solid adaptation of Doctor Strange, and it's even closer to the Doctor Strange. It's even closer to the Doctor Strange comic books than its 2016's successor. In that every person's, for the most part, every person's race and gender is the same. The ancient one the ancient one. The ancient one is a male, like he was in the comic books, and Mortal, who was Mortal, who was a brown guy and was also heavily altered, and when it came to backstory, was closer to his actual self in this quote unquote film right here. The only difference between this Doctor Strange and the other adaptations is that this Doctor Strange, while being an arrogant neurosurgeon, this one is also a arrogant neurosurgeon who is motivated solely by money, by quote unquote money, and does it by quote unquote money, and of course gets injured in what you call it. In the other ones, he's just an arrogant. In the other adaptations, he's just an arrogant neurosurgeon. But yeah, like I said, it's overshadowed by the Dr. Mordred film I just talked about, and the much superior 2016 film, and the entire MCU universe. But back in the 2000s, this was Marvel's best. This was alongside X-Men, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, Daredevil, Punisher, and those the live action adaptations of those. But now that the bar has been set, it is still exciting to watch today. Now that the bar has been set way higher, it's just okay. It's just quote unquote okay now. But it's a closer adaptation of Doctor Strange than the 2016 version. So yeah. This is my first time talking about this, so there will be no links. I would definitely talk about this again and the other ones in a comic book tie-in review. But for now, 2016, quote unquote 2016. So now it's time for Doctor Strange 2016. Doctor Strange 2016. 2016. If this is, in my opinion, one of the best and greatest films of 2016, and it's one of the most exciting and most unique Marvel Cinematic Universe films, because this movie right here was different from the other Marvel films. The other Marvel films are science fiction and fantasy. Even pure fantasy films like Thor are part science fiction. This was purely magic, fantasy, and mysticism, like Harry Potter in Japanese animation, and quote unquote Japanese animation. This is also the scariest Marvel film because it deals with cell regeneration, injuries, paralyzation, and dangerous spells, including the scariest spell, reliving the same moment over and over again, which is my number one favorite and best scene, where Doctor Strange, portrayed by Benedict Cumberbatch, who really looks like the character Doctor Strange. Talk about an awesome casting. Benedict Cumberbatch, he confronts the CGI creature of Dormammu, one of the main antagonists of Doctor Strange. He confronts him in another dimension, and Dormammu keeps killing him, and Doctor Strange keeps coming back to bargain, which is the thing. He keeps saying, Dormammu, I've come to bargain. Dormammu says, you've come to die. Kills him. Then he comes back again, and he keeps doing it until Dormammu finally bargains. Quote unquote bargains. Imagine living the same moment, the same spell and moment over and over again. One of the scariest things ever, man. One of the scariest things ever. What else about Doctor Strange? Then quote unquote with Doctor Strange, while changing a couple of things like the ancient one's gender, and Mordo's entire character. Mordo is actually in the beginning one of the protagonists, but it is awesome to see how you see in this version. By the end of the film, I hate Mordo. I hate the Mordo character, but I like what they did with his character. You see in the film, you just see goodness basically betray him. you see goodness basically betray him. The hypocrisy of the Ancient One, as she said, the Ancient One said, stealing power from the astrosphere, wherever that mysterious place was, stealing power from wherever that mysterious place was, it was forbidden. But the Ancient One did it anyway, while she told them it was quote unquote forbidden. And then you see him at the end see the problems, and then he feels there's too many sorcerers, and he takes Pang Horns, the paraplegic who through training and rehabilitation and cell regeneration and magic gained the ability to walk again. You have him at the end. You have Murdo at the end come in and steal this guy's power, steal this guy quote unquote, steal this guy's steal this guy's power. So yeah, I hate Murdo, but I like what they did. I hate Murdo in this film, but I like what they did with his character. I like what they did with his character. You just see goodness basically betray him, and Doctor Strange, just like this film is just like Iron Man 2008. Only magic and mysticism and chi instead of science fiction, fantasy, and then when you put Doctor Strange and Tony Stark together in Infinity War, the two don't get along. Despite being the same character. And like I said, I consider it one of Marvel's best. And then Marvel's quote unquote best. So yeah, one of Marvel's quote unquote best, and awesome soundtrack, including I never thought I would hear a Beyonce song in a Doctor Strange movie. And the other cast members were great too. You had Sitowell Ejiofor as Carl Mordo. You had the gorgeous Rachel McAdams as Christine Palmer. Doctor Strange's quote unquote love interest, and Benedict Wong. Benedict Wong. Oh yeah, Benedict Wong portrays Wong, the assistant, and many more. I don't feel like naming the others, but and Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One, who she was Quill's mother. She portrayed Quill's mother in quote unquote Guardians of the quote unquote in Guardians of the Galaxy, in Guardians of the in Guardians of the quote unquote Galaxy, in Guardians of the Galaxy. Now she's the Ancient One in this movie. So Doctor Strange 2016. Now it's time for it's time for my thoughts on quote unquote it's time for my thoughts on my thoughts on Multiverse of Madness. My short thoughts on Multiverse of Madness. And the film Multiverse of Madness, it looks real awesome. Really don't know much about the film other than that, according to Wikipedia, it's set a few months after Spider-Man No Way Home, and Doctor Strange, with the help of both old and new allies, travel to the multiverse to face a mysterious adversary. So yeah, I can't wait. I'm happy Scarlet Witch Wanda's back. And then, like I said in the trailer, they say with help from both old and new mystical allies. We see Wanda, but I see a bunch of new people, including some weird Asian, some weird Asian Hispanic looking person. And then another reason I'm interested in this film is that this film features characters from other from the other Marvel Cinematic Universe. Includes Patrick Stewart, who portrays the older Charles Xavier. Charles Xavier appears in this film in an undisclosed role. And then there are rumors that since Sam Raimi is directing, quote unquote, Sam Raimi is directing this film, that Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire could have a role, could have some small role in this quote unquote movie right here. I'm not showing the poster because I don't want to get caught with a copyright. But yeah. So yeah, this has been my quote unquote can't wait. This has been my quote unquote reviews of Doctor Strange, of Doctor Strange. You don't want to hear the rest of the music, turn the video off right now. And to see the other reviews and other videos I've done on Doctor Strange, click the link in the description box below. Everyone can do something special. See you in the shadow.